Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Summit. So this is me and Hasan's presentation for the Toxins and Treasures tour. Next slide, please.
It's a pleasure to meet everyone. My name's Hasan, and I'm the Climate Resiliency Fellow. I'm 14 years old, and a fun fact about me is that I'm the youngest fellow.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabella. I am the Clean Energy Fellow. I am 17 years old, and a fun fact about me is I'm going to be getting my A degree before my high school degree. Next slide, please.
I'm the Climate Resiliency Fellow, and the climate resiliency is the ability of a community to bounce back after climate disaster, like a flood, heat wave, or fire, and to prepare for future changes so they don't cause as much damage as next time, just to cause overall improvement and not to do, just to improve overall throughout the disasters that was going on. And some things that I do is graphic design, poster making, and I do information sharing, staying up to date with local and regional news related to climate change and community resilience.
And I am the Clean Energy Fellow again. So, what clean energy really is, it's power derived from sources that generate minimal or no greenhouse gases and pollutants during production. I also got the pleasure to work with LCEA in understanding clean energy better and current use of quote unquote dirty energy. I also got to do energy mapping, and I also got to stay up to date with local and regional news related to energy and energy production. Next slide, please. Okay, so what have we learned at Local Clean Energy Alliance? Um, we got to learn more about clean energy, which a few examples include solar panels and wind turbines. We developed connections, which include LCA, and we got to know kind of who they get to work with, what they stand for, and it was really great to learn about. Centralized and decentralized power. Centralized power is basically where one person is in charge and they get to make their decisions. Decentralized is more when it has a community aspect and everybody's kind of involved in making certain decisions. Also, current use of, again, dirty energy across the Bay Area and advocate for community energy. Energy is where local, citizen led initiatives where communities collectively own, generate, manage, or reduce their energy usage. And we also met a few times a month on Zoom. Overall, it was a great experience with me, Hasan, Jessica, and her staff. It was really great to be able to learn about all this in such a great environment, and I found it really informative. So yeah, thank you, Jessica. Next slide, please.
Well, we learned at New Voice Rising the world around us, environmental justice, social justice, climate justice. Everyone deserves safe water they can actually afford and trust, as it is a human need. Fresh and good food should be easy to find in every neighborhood, which is also a human need. People need clean parks and trees to stay healthy and to deal with the heat. And honestly, after New Voice Rising, I see a lot of things differently. I can actually tell if a park is dirty or if it's being neglected or if a low income neighborhood is struggling with climate issues. I've grown as a professional by learning how to stay organized and how to use my feedback to improve my work. Next slide. What is environmental justice? Environmental justice means everyone deserves a clean and safe environment, no matter their skin color and gender, and etc. Living in Richmond, I've really seen how environmental justice can really affect people's health. Many of us deal with asthma, breathing problems, and skin conditions because we're close to pollution sources and highways and like things like Chevron. And no group should face more pollution because of where they live, focuses on fair treatment of all communities, protects people from toxic air, water, and food quality, addresses pollution in low income and marginalized communities, supports community voices and environmental decisions, work towards healthier and safer neighborhoods for all. Next slide.
So, what is air/water pollution, and how does that impact us? So, what it those two things basically are is contamination from various contributing factors that affect our air and our water. A few things that can happen to you if you stay in areas or drink water with pollutants is you can develop respiratory diseases such as asthma and lung cancer, cardiovascular issues such as heart disease and strokes, and it also has potential to affect your mental health. You know, you go outside every day and you see how gloomy it is, and you know the different smells in the air. It's very effective on your mental health. Also, infections, skin issues, parasites, and there has been over 500,000 deaths a year from contaminated water. I also want to shed light on how we noticed more people that lived next to the Chevron refinery had higher cases of issues such as asthma. Approximately 25% of Richmond residents have asthma. So I did find that very informative and very kind of crazy, you guys. But next slide, please.
What is a toxic tour? A toxic tour is an educational visit that sites contaminated with toxic waste, which affects the community's health. We also plan on doing one, but unfortunately, we couldn't make time for it. So we're here now. And a toxic tour really matters because it really lets people see firsthand how pollution affects our neighborhoods and health. Seeing these sites up close inspires me and others to speak up and push for cleaner and healthier communities. What does this do? See pollution sources up close, learn how pollution affects people's health, recognize environmental justice issues, and Toxic Tour really encourages others to be aware and have solutions and to be engaged. Next slide.
So here's a little bit more about Richmond's background and kind of just its history. Located in the San Francisco Bay Area is Richmond. It is incorporated in 1905. Richmond is known as a major industrial city in Contra Costa County. It was originally home to Ohlone people. The area then became part of Rancho San Pablo in 1823. Richmond is an environmental justice community because many communities bear health burdens from industrial pollution, mainly again from the Chevron refinery, who pollute our city the most. Um, yeah, next slide, please. So, what don't people know about Richmond? It was actually, or it is still, one of the most important World War II shipbuildings in history. Home to the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Park, Historical Park, has a long shoreline with views of the San Francisco Bay, historic waterfront area called Point Mulati, and it's known for its diverse cultures and communities. A couple weeks ago, I actually got the chance to go to the Rosie the Riveter National Park, and it's just so crazy to me how it's like literally around the corner from my house, and I've never been, and I think more people should go. And I think it's important to learn about our history and know that like even though we're a city, we don't really think about it too much, but it is just so important, and we have so much history as much as we think that we don't. Next slide, please.
Interviews. So we did end up interviewing peers to find out what they know about the city that they live in and the problems surrounding it. We really found out how truly neglected they are of the problems surrounding their city. They know everything about ancient Egypt, but hardly know anything about Richmond. When I say that, I mean like in schools, teachers, they can teach you about all of the things in the past, yet they don't really explain to you what's going on currently in our community, in our neighborhoods, which is pollution. So, yeah, these are a few questions that we ask the people in the right side. Next slide. Interview responses. So some people said that air pollution affects my daily life through my eczema and asthma. More often than not, I always have eczema breakouts and trouble breathing because I really live close to the I-80 East. This really shows how air pollution isn't just an abstract issue. It's something that affects people's health every single day, and that includes mine. Community work. The Chevron refinery is relatively close to me. It's only 2 miles away from where I live, and I can see an impact in my neighborhood. Living so close to pollution sources makes these health challenges even harder, and it highlights where we live matters when it comes up to environmental justice. So, what some of them highlighted is I encourage youth to join nonprofit organizations. It's not it's not just so good for a college application, but you can also make a difference in your community. It's so gratifying to be part of something bigger. So basically being involved in New Voice Rising and isn't just about like building a resume. It's also about making a real change in your community and supporting it and future solutions. support cleaner transportation, stricter air laws, more green space, and renewable energy. When we support things like public transit, cleaner cars, and more parks, we're not just improving the environment, we're protecting our health and the health of our families. Every step towards cleaner air makes a difference in our daily lives. Mobilize youth voices and local organizations creates healthier neighborhoods for future generations. By uplifting youth voices and backing local organizations, we make sure that people are affected by pollution and leading solutions. It's really good to also have a solution prepared when you're speaking about something that you want something to be fixed. Next slide. Pollution sources. Pollution sources include factories, cars, power plants, and human activities that release harmful chemicals into the air, water, and soil. While these activities help society by providing energy, transportation, and jobs, they can also damage the environment and affect people's health, which is incredibly important to recognize. So some pros are it does provide jobs, it does produce energy, and it does support the local economy. But also the cons, which is important to look, is the cause of air pollution. It pollutes water and soil and harms the human health. As said before, some people, 500,000 people drink contaminated water, which is a huge con, as you can see. And yeah, so overall, pollution sources like factories, cars, and power plants does help provide jobs, but it's very important to make sure that you look that it does cause a lot of damage to the human body, which is really important to look at. Next slide.
So here are a few treasures to highlight. Richmond has several affected areas that are affected by pollution because of industry, shipping, and heavy traffic. These locations are important to highlight on the Toxic Tour because we show how much pollution impacts the environment and the nearby communities. So a few that we highlighted include Point Melody, Making Waves, which is a school, if you guys don't know, and Richmond Parkway. And a few major pollutants include Chevron Refinery, the Port of Richmond, and I-580 and I-80. Next slide, please. So how can people get involved to help make a change? You guys can volunteer by picking up garbage at your local beach, lake, etc. Help monitor your air quality by an air monitor. I actually got to work with Jackie, and I actually do have an air monitor outside of my house. I check it pretty often, and I do get alerts when the air quality is really bad outside. Depending on the weather, like one day it was raining, and it was just so high, and I had no clue why. If it's really windy, and we also noticed that the air quality is worse, especially around certain like seasons and holidays, such as Christmas, and of course the 4th of July. I think that's enough said. Um, but also, it's important to monitor your indoor air quality. I don't think a lot of people think about that. I definitely didn't before in VR. I got to learn that, we just don't think about certain things and we just try to ignore it, such as using different chemicals like Clorox all throughout your house to clean. If you have a gas stove, if you accidentally leave that on, that's really bad. There's been a couple times where I've personally accidentally left it on, guys, and my whole house would just smell like gas, and it's just so bad for you. Obviously, we got that worked out, but yeah. Also, support change. Speak up and shed light on the situations happening right outside. Go to officials to speak on concerns, such as MVR. Help educate yourself and others around you. Learn the numerous sources of pollution and how it affects us. And also, the terms that we use: environmental justice, social justice, and climate justice. Before NBR, you couldn't even pay me to understand what that was for some reason. It's really just not taught in school like that. And I think it's just so important to learn and help educate the youth and what's going on in their community. And yeah, next slide, please.
Well, we hope for youth in Richmond. We hope that it educates others about pollution and impacts on the health. This kind of education does help people understand the real life effects and encourages community involvement and activism in Richmond. We really does hope that this can really just motivate you just to be more involved, um, raises environmental awareness across our neighborhoods, really like sharing out with people who are around you, like with your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers, and etc. Hosting a toxic tour. This really does bring people together around the issues and inspire action. Thank you. Next slide. Thank you for your time.